All right, everybody, welcome to Rapid Reactions right here on Texas Football. I'm Blake Munroe, joined by Rod Babers. And Rod, it's a big visit weekend for the Longhorns, and Christmas is coming early for them. Matthew Golden, the wide receiver out of Houston, the dangerous kick returner, quite possibly one of the most dangerous kick returners in the nation, if not the most dangerous, has committed to the Longhorns. And just right off the top of your head, what's your first thoughts on that?
You just said it, man. I mean, honestly, you would think it would be almost impossible for Texas to upgrade at kickoff returner, considering how explosive, right, how dynamic Keelan Robinson is, and he is just that. He's actually gotten better throughout this season. Matthew Golden may actually be one of the best kickoff returners in the country, if not the best. He only had 9 kickoff returns this past season and returned 2 of them for touchdowns. He was averaging close to 35 yards per kickoff return in his career. He's over 30 yards. I think he's close to 31 yards per kickoff return. I think Keelan Robinson guys is around 24, 25, which is still pretty damn good. That's how explosive Matthew Golden is. So this is a guy that even if he doesn't necessarily crack the circle of trust at the wide receiver position, which we'll discuss and talk about, you know that he's going to help you immediately upgrade, which I said, no insult to Keelan Robinson, but he's going to upgrade you a kickoff returner. And there's no question about it.
Yeah, no doubt. And as you said, 9 kickoff returns, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I believe he did have the longest kickoff return in Big 12 conference play this year with a 100-yarder. And I mean, it speaks for itself, man. You can't get much better than that when it comes to special teams.
Yeah, and you got a great special teams coach, guys. We don't give enough props to Jeff Banks. Jeff Banks, his phase, special teams, has been the most consistent phase on the 40 acres since Sark got here. All right, even the first year for Sark, he was still one of the better special teams units in the conference and in the country, and it's only gotten better. And now, you know, they've been building, constructing the offense, right? I think Sark started with the offense, big humans and the speed on the outside, stacking the quarterback position. Then the defense, we've seen it lately, right? Your Colin Simmons, got your Anthony Hills. Now you're getting, you know, your Malik Muhammad on the outside, trying to Derek Williams, trying to stockpile that defense. But what about special teams, man? There are 3 phases, and I think maybe Jeff Banks like, hey, man, I know I'm going to get my guys from the offensive and defensive recruits, but hey, man, how about you just go give me a dynamic returner, a guy that's what he does, and that's certainly what it seems like they did with Matthew Golden.
No doubt about it. You know, and Bobby has spoke about all week, Texas being very selective in the portal, not just looking for warm bodies, but finding key contributors at key spots, you know, puzzle pieces that make the whole picture come together. And that's exactly what Golden is here.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, let's just jump to offense, right? You got a lot of targets that are leaving. You got Xavier. Well, we assume. All right, we assume they're leaving.
Very true. Very true.
Exactly. Hey, there's still hope. Keep hope alive. But let's just play hypotheticals here. Xavier Worthy gone, most likely. A.D. Mitchell could be gone. Jay Witt is gone. You're losing 2 receivers in the transfer portal as well. So you're losing a lot of depth at receiver. The thing about Sark is Sark likes a tight circle of trust at the wide receiver position, a tight rotation. It's really hard to really crack that rotation if you're not in the top 3 or 4. Remember, Jay Witt, Jay Witt was basically a blocker for Sark in his passing game until recently, because Jay Witt gets so much man coverage now. It's too easy for Quinn Ewers when teams are playing man coverage. If you're gonna have to double and roll coverage to guys, it'll be X-Man. It'll be A.D. Mitchell, the guy with double-digit touchdowns, or you may decide, hey, I'm going to bracket J.T. Sanders. There's no defensive coordinator going into a game talking about, you know what, we're going to double Jay Witt on this game. We're taking him out. Taking Jay Witt. I know. Jay Witt's getting man coverage on the 3rd or 4th best DB out there. He going to eat all day long. So you're going to lose. You're losing a lot of weapons on offense, especially in the passing game. So he could crack that group of receivers. He fits the kind of receiver that Sark likes. Sark likes, you know, speed demons. Number 1, you got some speed. Sark will give you that second look. He'll be glance snatch. You got a shot. He's also a precision route runner. Not a lot of wasted movement in this game like that. Listen, Texas DBs, they'll be the first one to vouch for this young man, all right? Against Texas, what do you have? 7 for 88, 2 touchdowns. As a matter of fact, I heard about this, Blake. His best game against any Power 5 team was against Texas.
Yeah,
All
go
his other
figure.
really good games, they came up against Eastern Carolina. He had 8 for 127, 2 touchdowns last season, 5 for 105 versus SMU last season, 9 for 92 versus Sam Houston State this season. But he had shown out versus a Power 5 team. Oh, he showed out versus Sark. So maybe Sark already got him in the circle of trust after what he did versus Texas with them 2 touchdowns. He probably figured, you know what? That guy's going to be one of my top receivers. But he will. He actually is compatible with Sark's offense. Targets to motion. Guy can, if you need him to take a top off a defense, he can be that guy. But I envision him probably in the slot, working more in the slot for Sark. And I think Sark's going to have other weapons on the outside. But Sark likes his receivers all to be interchangeable so he can move them around. You certainly can do that with Matthew Golden.
No doubt. And like you said, they are most likely, I guess, losing a few key pieces. You look at the stats from this year. He had 38 receptions for 404 yards, 6 touchdowns. Going back to his freshman year, 38 receptions, 584 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So he can make an impact in the passing game, no doubt about it.
Yeah, guy seems to have a nose for the end zone too, don't he? Because because he's not prolific numbers in the passing game necessarily, but man seems to have a lot of touchdowns on there. Same thing with the kickoff returns, right? Only 9 kickoff returns, but 2 of those end up going for touchdowns. Love the guys who have a nose for the end zone. And there's something else that I like about his game. Obviously, you get the added value of him being one of the best kickoff returners in the country. But if let's say you got first world problems and he can't crack the tight circle of trust of wide receivers for Sark, right? Let's say Jonte Cook's in there balling out. Let's say you get another guy in the transfer portal you like, say the young Bucks, they start to look really good as you're bringing in, and say that, Sark ends up getting his 3-4 receivers he really likes, and then Matthew Golden can't crack that group. He can still play a very similar role to what Keelan Robinson does. Now, Keelan Robinson is doing it from a running back position, but Sark comes up with special packages for essential special ball carriers. He thinks that Keelan Robinson is a special ball carrier, that he's really explosive. So all Sark does is game plan and scheme up Keelan Robinson to get the ball in space. If you'll notice, it's like a swing screen, or it's some quick RPO that gets him the ball with about 3 or 4 yards of space. And that's all he needs. He's either going to beat you to the perimeter and beat you to the edge, or you're going to be so out of control trying to catch up to this guy. He's going to make one cut, make you miss, and make you look silly. And Matthew Golden can do the same thing. So if he can't crack the circle of trust, don't worry. I think Sark will still say, man, this guy's too dynamic. I can't waste that type of explosivity. I'm going to come up with 4 or 5, packages plays, and we're going to put them out there, and we're going to see if we can just get him a matchup advantage somewhere. So I think either way, he's going to be a weapon for Sark. Sark likes a muse, right? He likes to be inspired by athletic talent. It actually opens up his creativity and innovation. And I think Matthew Golden will be one of those guys where he'll find plays for him and targets for him, even if he doesn't necessarily crack that rotation of wide receivers.
No doubt about it. And he does have some speed. I mean, as we saw in the Texas game, as we see on the kickoff returns, ran a 10.93 100 meter in high school. And then, just an overall around athlete, 21 feet, 8.5-inch long jump was his personal best in high school as well. So he has some athletic tendencies, Rod. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's explosive, man. He's just an explosive athlete. And you see it actually when he gets the ball in his hands. Like he kind of takes it to a different level when he gets as a ball carrier. And that's why I think Sark, he's not going to waste that. He's not going to waste. He's going to find ways to get this guy to football in space. And he's also we know Sark likes the vertical shots. He can be a vertical threat for you in the target. He can also be a guy you can just throw little wide receiver screens to, essentially extended handoffs, because he's so great with the ball in his hands. He's just a guy I think is going to be really compatible. I actually do predict he'll crack that circle of trust of the wide receivers. I do predict that. But if he doesn't, you still got tons of added value for him being on your roster. No doubt, with special teams. And I think I don't know if he covers kicks or not. Hell, Jeff Banks might probably just got to go cover some damn kicks, depending on if he can't crack that circle of trust with the wide receiver. So this is a great pickup by Texas. It upgrades you in a number of spots on the roster, but also fills positions of need, voids of need right now, targets that are going to be potentially leaving at the wide receiver position.
No doubt, and they may not even be done, Rod. As we said, a big visiting weekend. Of course, you have Andrew Makuba, Xavier Filsame, Alex Foster, and Ty Anthony Smith, also all on campus this weekend, besides Matthew Golden. So who knows when we'll be back with some more news? But for sure, one thing that is for sure is Bobby and CJ will be back tomorrow, giving you guys the latest updates. But yeah, Rod, I mean, a heck of a pickup. There's no denying that. And I think Texas is going to be very happy here.
This is that Sark after dark stuff the kids always talking about. That basically, when it gets dark, Sark's recruiting picks up a notch. Maybe so we might be back tonight. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe more early Christmas presents on the way. All right. Well, for Rod Babers, I'm Blake Munroe, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome.